All right, Georgia and I are back now with yet another untitled piece. Georgia, why doesn't he title his work?
I'm not sure. I obviously don't want to speak for him, but I think maybe just so that we interpret the pieces in our own way. They're quite evocative, and I think he doesn't maybe want to lead us into a specific interpretation, but just leave it open to the viewer to take what they will out of it.
That makes perfect sense to me. So, okay, so carrying on the theme of stretch wrap.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about this piece.
Yeah, so this is one of his stretch wrap paintings, which obviously are so striking and beautiful. So he uses the same material as he does for the wrapped objects, but to a very different effect, as you can see. So here he's layering so many different colors of stretch wrap, and you can see that he can create these really beautiful, interesting colors out of the primaries just by layering them.
These are all primaries?
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he just, you can only buy, it's an industrial item, you just buy the certain set of colors, and then he just layers them, and then obviously
you get all these different shades and
shapes, different shades, different shapes. The texture is obviously very different with the wrapped objects. He's wrapping them so tightly, and here there's a little bit more play that he allows for the saran wrap to just take its own shape.
And how, I mean, this is on what?
Yeah,
what's it on?
It's on greenhouse plastic, which is just a bit of a heavy dutier plastic, and he's wrapped the plastic as you would canvas around.
So it goes all the way around.
Yeah, so it's just wrapped around the edges, the wood frame of of the piece.
So what has been the reaction to some of the patrons to the Baum with these paintings?
I think they've been really well received, and
they're striking.
Just the scale of them and the colors and everyone, they're so different as you move around. Obviously, no two are alike, but to a very strong degree. This one has so much more geometric, whereas the one as you walk in is much more organic in its shape. And people do have really strong feelings about which ones they like. And then in the other room we have some where he's mulched. He uses, these ones are stretch wrap, but he's used plastic bags, trash bags. He's mulched some of them. He's put some straight. Yeah, yes. So yeah, another fun artistic technique that he's come up with. So yeah, they really grab people, I think, which is positive.
How did he get started doing this, using these sorts of materials?
I don't know, but when you look back to his really early work, he's always seems to have been drawn to these really common materials, and he does really wonderful things with the simplest of materials. So I think he's really aware of how you can bend the rules and think outside of the box with really basic materials. And
so of the pieces we've looked at so far, what are your favorites?
Oh my gosh, that's very difficult. Lake Conway obviously is one of my favorites, and that seems to be a favorite of everyone. The paintings I absolutely love. Every day there's a different one that I wish that I could have.
Probably when you walk in here more than once, you see something different. Is that right?
For sure.
So talk about how the audience could come in, the patrons could come in and really see something different the second time they come in here.
Yeah.
And third.
Yeah, so I think it's almost twofold. So the first thing is there's just so much going on. There's so many colors, so many textures, like every sense is stimulated. So there's that element of it, but then also he's using, the materials he's using, they actually physically change. So Lake Conway with the liquids are changing when you have milk and windshield washer fluid mixed together. Obviously from one day to the next they're going to react differently to each other. The balloon piece in the middle, those balloons were blown up fully at the beginning, and they were squashed into every piece of that vitrine, and now they're slowly deflating. So everything, literally every day, it does change.
So even though you've seen this one time, doesn't keep
you
from
could
coming
come
back.
Every day and see something different, which is wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So what has he done with stretch wrap besides the wrapped objects and the paintings? Are there other?
I believe there's the black X piece over there is stretch wrap. So in a way, it's kind of like the found object pieces, but they're this one's wall mounted. So he's wrapped pallets, work pallets, and stretch wrap and place them on the wall so that we see that differently.
He just thinks differently than most people.
Yeah, I think so. yeah, and it's wonderful for us because we benefit from it when we get to see it. So
that's right. Okay, well we'll be we'll move around for yet something
great,
something new, another untitled piece.
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, here's another piece, Georgia, untitled. But it's very interesting. What does it look like at first glance? Before we talk about what do people say when they come in?
I think that it's so sculptural, and I think they're really drawn just to the beauty of it. But then you come up close and you see that
you realize what it is.
Yeah.
So what is it, Georgia? Tell us.
Yeah, so it's actually PVC piping, just average piping that you would buy at a hardware store, but he's managed to form it into these spirals. So he brought them in the spirals, but in his studio in DC, he made a template actually. He used a sonotube and he created a spiral, and then he steamed the piping so it became malleable, exactly. And then he wrapped it around, got it in the shape he wanted, and then it just formed in this beautiful spiral.
So he comes here in his U-Haul with all of these materials.
With all of these, yeah.
And so you come here, and then how does this get created here?
Yeah, so he hung this one on site. So he started at the top, way up high, I think, in the genie lift, and he started with anchors, square anchors at the top, where he hung the first ones, and then he literally just wove them together into this pattern. So his spatial awareness is really incredible. You see as he starts doing these things, just that he is able to see these patterns and create these patterns that, being the assistant working on it, it's hard enough to even understand what he's doing, let alone him coming up with these intricate patterns. And then the beauty of it is once you see it finished, it looks so simple, and it's so elegant. But it is really, really amazing.
So this may be a dumb question. When this is taken down, it'll be in the pieces again.
Yes.
And then he'll go show it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Will it be exactly the same, or
well, it could be. He's got his set pattern. So when you look, there's sort of 3 rows and 3 rows, and then 2 rows and 2 rows, and it's a very geometric pattern as you go up. And actually, the only fastener is on the top. Everything else is just gravity, and it's all intertwined. So when he takes it apart, they'll just be the individual pieces as they came in. So he could potentially, obviously, how he turned them, you would never be able to get it might change minimally as things do, but this is one that he could definitely recreate again.
You could, yes. Okay, and I see something funny there.
Yes.
Is that a little piece of humor there that he's added?
Yes,
Tell us about
very
that.
Characteristic of him. So that was actually the very last edition. So he created this beautiful sculpture. We all thought that it was completely done, and then he came
and added this last?
Added this last piece and continued it down to the floor with that spout.
The valve, like a plumbing valve.
Exactly, and it's the kind of thing that really sets his work apart, because most people would just leave it as being this beautiful, symmetrical, balanced sculpture, and then he adds this to it, which really catches your eye. And
now, did he bring this part with him also?
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, is working with him, he seems so sporadic, and he finishes the piece and then all of a sudden he attaches something, and to us it seems very sporadic, but clearly he's thought about it, because he brought it with him, and it was clearly in his vision from earlier. So
what do you think the significance of the color red there? Is there
well, I think it's just a product of that's the color of the industrial item, but I think it is like him to have pops of color that sort of draw your eye in. So we've got this whole white sculpture with a little bit of black text, and then it's just that added extra element. Not only does it make it asymmetrical, but it also, the color pulls you
Well, and you don't
down.
even see that at first when you walk in.
Yeah, and it's the same thing we were talking about,
Yeah.
just the little details.
Yeah.
Every time you come, you may see something
Yeah.
that you didn't notice before.
And is it secured to the ground, or is it just?
No, it's just resting. Everything is suspended from the
Okay.
ceiling.
Okay.
But it is kind of fun that he's able, I mean, these ceilings must be at least 16 feet tall, so he's managed to he's utilized this space so well, and he's managed, you know, he's managed to create a piece that goes from top to bottom,
Yeah.
which is quite fun.
Yeah. And pretty good width here. So
Yeah, and it's nice, you walk around it, and it's the fact that you're able to see through it, you always get a different vantage point. Like, it's very interesting, you're able to see the painting through it, you can see the palette through it, and it just, you know, it changes up your perspective a little bit and makes you see other things in a different way.
what's been the reaction of the visitors here?
People love this one, and it's the same thing. Everyone can, you know, kind of identify with piping that's, you know, in your house, in your apartment, in somebody's place. So, yeah, I think it's fun. And then you get that aha moment when you know, you're walking in and you see it from a distance, and it just looks purely white, and then you see it's just this ordinary material. So.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Now, Georgia, this exhibit will be up through October 21st.
Yes.
And then Dan Steinhilper will be in town again on campus on Tuesday, October 27th.
Yes, yeah.
At 1:40 in the afternoon?
Yep, yeah.
Very
He'll
good.
be in the art lecture hall at UCA.
And that is open to the public?
Yes,
We would
it's open
encourage
to the public, and we would love the public to come.
And
so.
obviously come here, look at the pieces, and then have questions for him, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
but make sure you come to the exhibit first, because
Absolutely.
by the time the lecture it'll be closed, but come
Okay.
and take a look, and then you can hear a little bit more about his artistic intent and ask questions like you
Sounds
said.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us,
Thank
Georgia. I'm
you.
sure we'll do this again.
Yes, that
with
would be
another,
lovely.
another show.
Yeah.
Spotlight will be back again next time.